First NFL edition. Let's look at the standings after another week in the books. We looked a little bit in the AFC. Let's look a little down at NFC for a tad bit. Um, as you can clearly hear, the Eagles, the Eagles, they running it down east, big time. They got it all, defense, offense. What else you need from them guys? They got they got running backs to backs to back. But it was a close game they had against you know who, the rival, the zealous Cowboys. It looked like it was gonna be a down and this, and this game's gonna be over and all, you know. But it wasn't like that. Them Dallas Cowboys at the very end showed up, and they was like, "Hey man, we're gonna take our chance. We're out here punching," and they got the game close. And I guess the Eagles just, to be honest, the Eagles just gave them a good amount of chances. Like at the very end, there was like three different drives where could have probably gotten something out of it. Just didn't really try anything. One of them, the tight end too. I bet was it Skoranek or something. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong player. But that touchdown where they took it back, I believe his knee was down. Then also they brought back the one with Dak Prescott running it, but his leg was out. I believe that was for the 2-point conversion. Not 100, but I believe it was. So this is not a bad loss, obviously. But 5-3, they probably, I mean, they most likely are gonna make it to playoffs unless something big happens. Obviously, they need a little bit more in the wide receiving area, but Ferguson's been leveling up for them, so they don't got a problem there. Um, don't see it either team taking any more losses unless injuries and stuff. This is not with injuries and all. If none of that happens, then unless the Commanders in Bowley Howley, uh, Graham Howler, obviously, I just don't see them doing anything. Ronnie Rivers, I don't know, he might be out the way, out of the door, or I don't know, because it's the new the takeover. They sold their edge rushers as well as y'all. What happened a week ago? It hasn't even been a full week or so. I don't believe so. So they got rid of them boys. But still, yeah. So I don't really see much for either team unless the Commanders actually think about tanking. Tank. But yeah, East. I say I'm gonna go with this one's just too easy and just obvious. I don't even know why I took so long on it. I mean, I guess I got deep into the game, but whatever. Eagles, Cowboys, and just the way it is right now, it's probably going to end this way unless Sam Howell goes down and even they have more problems. But the Giants just have been a big bag of trash, New York trash, to be honest. As everybody knows that watches, just you don't see anything in this team, to be honest. These Giants, unless they could turn around, and who knows? What if Dable is in? I don't know if he's in the hot seat because he did so well last year. But this is the NFL. What's his name? I don't know. He just got fired, McDaniels, which was a really good decision because obviously the Las Vegas Raiders did some. Let's look at the West. 49ers, Seahawks, Rams. That one can go any way with the Rams and Seahawks. Obviously, the Rams with Matty just having issues. In the beginning, they had Cooper Cup issue. Was there any other issue? Oh, and Kyron Williams, as he started playing really well, he got injured as well. Puka Nacua obviously isn't playing as good as when Cooper Cup was away, but I don't think it's more of a him problem. It's more of an all around pain problem. This Ram situation. So they could still turn it around. I haven't looked into Matty's situation. I thought there was a chance he was going to play this week. Maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't looked that deep into it. Then the Seahawks. Seahawks, I mean, they just faced a really dominant Ravens defense. Maybe we could look into that one. Just the defense pretty much won this game, to be honest. It wasn't really much of the offense, even though when they needed the first downs and the touchdowns, they obviously got it. But they were always getting in a pretty good position with the defense, just pretty much, with the pick. I don't believe was there a pick six? No, there might have been. What am I doing? I could just click the game right here and see if there was a pick six for Josh's sake. But yeah, forget that. But yeah, Gino didn't have an all-around good game. I don't remember seeing much from Lockett or any of them, as you can see right here. 1 for 50 and 3 for 32. And the new guy, the rookie, Jason Smith-Jibo, he's actually the one that got pretty much all around. I'm not sure on the targets. It doesn't show here. I could obviously just go to the fantasy area. But yeah, we're gonna leave it there for the standings. But yeah, this is pretty much. I could see the Seahawks going first, to be honest. I could see the 49ers going first. Since, Trent Williams, that loss hasn't looked pretty for them. But Seahawks, I mean, I'd have to look at their schedule. I could do that real quick and see what it's looking like. That was a tough one. They got that out of the way. Commander should be an easy win, but sometimes stuff happens. And Sam Howell, I'm going to go ahead and say that's a win right there. Rams, if dangerous situations continue, they can easily get that. 49ers, they can get that too. They get them 2 times. So November 23rd, then December 10th. They could probably win one, lose one. Because 49ers, they feel, I don't know, it kind of looks like they're just falling apart. But who knows? Maybe they turn it to, maybe can turn around as in like, maybe they get a little bit healthier. Because they're starting to use George Kittle, because they weren't using George Kittle because they were pretty much healthy for a little bit. So they didn't really. But as a fantasy manager, I just got George Kittle, and I'm okay with that. Then you got a tough Dallas team. So you got 3 tough defenses right there. Titans, they're just a tough team all around. It's not just a defense, even though, it's Vrabel, dude. Eagles, dang. So it does kind of get, the Cardinals aren't a tough team, but for some reason they give everybody somewhat a chance. They beat Dallas, but they don't have Dobbs anymore. I don't know if Murray's going to come back or not. We don't know what that. So in a way, actually, this is a tough schedule now that I look at it, and depending on the 49ers schedule, I mean, 49ers it's actually probably tougher. That's usually the call time, but 49ers isn't as easy. They're both pretty bad. It could be one or two. It's gonna end up one or which way, unless injuries, which most likely injuries are gonna be involved with the 49ers. And I mean, I don't know. It could go either way for both teams, to be honest. Seahawks actually, I mean, Kenneth Walker had an injury last year. I believe Lockett DK Metcalf was out for a game. Kenneth Walker might have gotten an injury again. No, he didn't. I'm thinking of somebody else. Defensive, obviously, they just got the cornerback. So, I don't know. Most people don't see Geno as a threat or something or anything. Obviously, he has a comeback year and all that speech last year. But, I mean, with all the tools around him, I see him as all around, just as a team. They're just all around good team, to be honest. They're Seattle Seahawks. Let's go a little bit into the fantasy because the real stuff is pretty much over. Obviously, some of it's gonna spill over. C.J. Stroud, he's doing the whatchamacallit. I don't know. I forget the dancer's name, but now on we call it the CJ, the Stroud. But yeah, CJ was on fire. I actually had CJ, and I had George Kittle on bye. So I'm like, holy schmoly. What do I do? What I did, I seen somebody that didn't have a quarterback. I'm like, I really don't want to get rid of CJ. Plus, I believe I have Kyler Murray on injured reserve, so I was kind of crossing my fingers for that as well. Um, and I didn't want to drop any of my players. So I'm like, I might as well try to get a decent player. So I traded for Ferguson to see, CJ for Ferguson. So yeah, they gave a really good quarterback. And ever since see, the other thing is I traded for Lamar Jackson. So pretty much the whole situation is CJ's actually had the better numbers, even though I made the trade for the other quarterback. Tank Dell went off as well. He's shown little glimpses of like, oh crap, if he just had one more step, or moved a little to the left or right, or just done something, he would have gone for 60 or whatever. I was about to say some crazy numbers like 100 for like a 60-yarder. But yeah, Tank went off as well. Obviously, with the pass with CJ throwing it. I didn't hear their other wide receivers. Who is the other wide receiver? Why am I forgetting? Because he's usually his number one. Let's see if we can see him on the wide receivers area. Noah Brown. Oh, Noah Brown was the other one that got numbers, but Noah Brown isn't usually the other guy. There it is. Nico Collins. Nico Collins still got 14. He's been a top-notch guy. You might have gotten him waiver wire, I'm pretty sure, because I believe he was available week 1, and I didn't. Sometimes it's dumb decision making, like just because he doesn't have a name or something. Jahan Dotson's kind of he's made of titanium. He made out of titanium. He's made some of a resurgence. His Jahan Shashan. But then again, he's got 2 other wide receivers in the room with him, and I don't know. It's a sticky situation, but I believe he's a good keep in a dynasty league for sure. I would guess most people already have him, but in a regular league, I mean, if you're in a 16-teamer, you might want to pick him up. Who knows what your situation is looking like? Deontay Johnson, resurgence, again. But did anybody else make a Devontae Smith had himself a pretty decent game, but not great. Tyreek Hill, not so great, but well, it's bad because he's Tyreek Hill and he just gets more points. Rice, man, I thought he was starting off. Good, but or fast, slowed all the way down. He actually put the brakes on completely, which bummed me out. Brandon Powell, probably somebody nobody heard of. I was seeing his name around in waiver wire. I didn't really see anything because obviously around 2-3 weeks ago, Justin Jefferson was healthy. Osborne was number 2. Osborne was kind of a mix of number 2 between him and Jordan Addison. It was a mix between them two, and obviously Jordan seems like he's got the one, but it's actually still a mix. Who knows what that? But Osborne actually took a hit as well today. Looked kind of bad. So we had that situation. So Jordan Addison actually is going to be the number 1, unless Hawkinson's like, nah, I'll be the number 1. You'll be the number 2. I'll be the tight end. I'll be the Travis Kelce type player. Even though he's actually been playing pretty good this year. Not great numbers from wide receivers, and I just realized that all around, not great numbers. T. Higgins coming back, ladies and gentlemen, coming back. Like people have been saying, there's a good chance. Well, it's going to be a really good chance that T. Higgs is going to be a number 1 somewhere else. And in fantasy-wise, obviously, him being number 1 somewhere else is going to put his stock a little bit higher. To be honest, I feel like his stock is high right now. It really doesn't, because either him or Chase is going to have the really big game. Unless it's one of those run games where Mixon or somebody else is going to have the big numbers. CD, been on it. He was one player I wanted to draft, but I just didn't know if it was going to be the same situation as he's going to be a mid-tier wide receiver when you value him more of a number one guy, and as in fantasy wise, or a number two guy. But he's clearly a number one guy in fantasy, I believe. I don't know if maybe. I mean, this is for now, but who knows what happens next year? Spent a lot. One big thing: tight ends. Man, the flood is here. The flood is here. There, just look at those numbers. That's kind of shocking. Let me highlight that crap. Look at those fudging numbers. Look at them fudging numbers. Jake Ferguson, K. Dotton. Funny thing is, I've had shares in almost every single one of these tight ends, which being in 2 leagues now, I'm a part of 3. Obviously, tends to happen. I had Cole Kmet. It's just I would play him, he'd have shit games. I wouldn't play him, he'd have great games. So I just got sick of Duke. Then K. Dotton, I just they only targeted him as a tight end last week or so. So they're going to be targeting him. Obviously, he's going to be pretty much it seems like the main tight end. So I was like, I'm going to add him. I added him, got myself 20-some. But that was after, I believe. He had the... Oh, no, actually, I had him last week, too, I believe. Janu Smith. This one was just more on the fluky side, I believe. Okay, so how many targets did he have? He actually had 5. So, but one of them was for the long touchdown. So the majority of the points came from there, or from that for Janu. And Taysom Hill has just been fracking, just awesome. Look at that, just these consistent numbers from the consistency from Taysom Hill is on point. And then you got Mark Andrews. I mean, I've been saying, I don't know, I always say, I've pretty much been saying it for the past 2-3 years. I'm like, tight end this year is gonna be deep. I don't think you gotta use one of your first rounds. And I found out that it was not that that wasn't the case. It took a while. It's a long freaking cycle. But now you're kind of seeing who, like what's gonna happen. Tight end might, I don't know how long it's gonna be like this for, but it's just so inconsistent because Jonnu Smith is the guy that. Well, he's not supposed to be the guy who's going to get you to points. He's supposed to be called Pitts. And Jonnu Smith's supposed to be the guy that everybody just dumps after a bye week or so. And not the situation. Jonnu Smith's actually looking like he was... Maybe it was that Bill Belichick bullshit that done messed up my boy, Jonnu Smith. Because he was a beast before that whole situation. Luke Musgrave's even looking like... Kincaid, they all looking nice to be a tight end. Hunter Henry is like off, on, off. Similar to Cole Kmet, but Cole Kmet obviously much better as the number wise. But Hunter Henry did have an injury or so. Irv Smith was actually having a decent game as well. But at 11, but it's for tight ends. So that's what I'm saying. Look at all these numbers. You could have probably played almost any tight end this week and you would have been good. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching Fantasy and NFL Show Sports First, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all have a good one. Sabotage not again.